What is going on, college sports fans? And we are here with a college football video. I'm super hyped for this college football season. Still going to be doing a bunch of college basketball content here on the channel as well. But let's start to sprinkle in some football stuff because the season is getting here. It's going to be here faster than we know it. I'm super hyped for it. And ESPN just a few days ago released their college football FPI rankings, which is their football power index rankings. And if we look here, this is basically where they take a look at a bunch of different projected scenarios, including the chance of going undefeated, winning the conference, and winning the national title, and rank their top 25 teams. So kind of a weird rankings list, but I thought it was a good opportunity to get a college football video out there, let you know if I think these teams are overranked, underranked, or ranked pretty properly. So let me know what you guys think about these in the comments. Subscribe if you guys are new, and if you guys are college sports fans, college football, basketball content coming almost daily here on the channel. You don't want to miss it, so hit that sub button. But coming in here at number 25, we do have the North Carolina Tar Heels. Drake May coming into this season going to be one of the Heisman favorites as long as their team is winning, and I think they will be. I like them in the top 25. I wouldn't even mind North Carolina being a little bit higher here on this list. Mac Brown, he's done a pretty good job recruiting, and it's really been their defense that has been atrocious, especially last year. The defense was so bad, so if their defense can get things together, and then they could win quite a few games, 9 or 10 games probably this year if their defense is playing good. Not too worried about their offense. Like I said, Drake May, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. They're going to be really good. They're going to be a top 25 team. Completely fine with them here. Coming in here at 24, we have the Oregon State Beavers, and I'm a little bit surprised that they're here at 24, but not really, because they got a big pickup in the transfer portal in DJU from Clemson. Now, I don't think that DJU is that great of a pickup. I mean, he was really good out of high school. He has the build. Like, people thought that he could actually be like the next Cam Newton type player, and you know, he's very strong. He's going to be doing good in the Pac-12 conference, and the reason I like this ranking here at 24 for Oregon State is I think it's fair is not because of DJU, which is why ESPN is probably glazing them up a little bit, but because they had a very solid team last year, and they have a really good coach right now, and I think Oregon State is going to be good again. I could see them going 8-4, 9-3, once again, just like they did last season. The only problem is there is actually quite a few good teams in the Pac-12 right now, like Washington, Oregon, USC, Utah, you name it. There are a lot of really good teams, but yeah, Oregon State, I don't hate this ranking. They're a really solid squad. It's not just DJU. Coming in at 23, we do have the Baylor Bears. Now, I'm actually really high on the Baylor Bears this season, maybe higher than I should be or higher than most, but Baylor is going to be really good. They have a good quarterback in Blake Shapen, who everyone thought was going to kind of break out and be super good last year. But I think this is the season that he's really going to emerge and be a super good quarterback here for the Bears. But I really do like Baylor's head coach in Dave Aranda. Last season, they did not have a very good year, but the year prior, Dave Aranda's first season as their head coach, they won the Big 12 championship, and they had one of the best defenses in the country. And I think Baylor's defense gets back to that this year. I think they have a really good defense. I like their quarterback, Blake Shapen. I think Baylor is going to be a top 20 team. I wouldn't even mind them being a little bit higher, but I think 23 is a good spot for them right now. I think that's pretty properly ranked there for them. Coming in here at number 22, we do have the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Now, I'm a little bit skeptical of Texas Tech being this high, honestly. Donovan Smith's going to be coming back here as the quarterback for Texas Tech, and he's a really good two-way quarterback. You know, he can scramble, he can throw the ball. I like his game a lot. I think he could be in for a breakout year. Joey McGuire coming into year 2, had a pretty good season with the Red Raiders last season. I'm fine with them being in the top 25. I probably personally wouldn't have them in my top 25, but we'll see. The Big 12 is going to be pretty wide open. You know, it wouldn't shock me if they were a top 25 team consistently this season, but I probably wouldn't have them in my preseason top 25. Coming in at 21, ooh, this is a shocker. Okay, I did not expect Washington to be this low. I thought that they would be a top 15 team. I thought the Michael Penix Jr. glazing would be out of this world, especially by ESPN. But they're coming in here at 21. They're definitely a top 25 team. I would probably have them a little bit higher. I mean, Michael Penix Jr. is probably going to be a Heisman contender this season. I mean, what he was doing last year was amazing. He was playing out of this world. Super fun player to watch. And Washington usually has a really good offensive line. I'm pretty sure they have a pretty good receiver returning, if I'm remembering right. And they usually have a pretty good defense. So I think Washington maybe be a little bit higher. But, I'm fine with them being around like the 21 to 17-ish range. Make them prove it a little bit first. But, yeah, I think they're a little bit too low. Coming in here at number 20, we do have Wisconsin. This is another team that I think may be a little bit too low. I mean, no more Graham Mertz at Wisconsin. They always have a stellar defense. They always have a stellar offensive line and running game. And you take that and you add Luke Fickell and Tanner Mordecai. Tanner Mordecai was a guy that was leading FBS at SMU in touchdown passes. I'm pretty sure a couple years ago he definitely had over 40, maybe even 50 touchdown passes in a season. I mean, he was lighting it up. Tanner Mordecai on this Wisconsin team with their run game, with their offensive line. I think Wisconsin's got to be the favorites to win the Big Ten West this year, and I honestly probably have them higher than 20. I'd have them higher than 20. I mean, Luke Fickell, with what he's been doing at Cincinnati, take him to a program like Wisconsin, who always has a really good defense. I think they should be a little bit higher, but I'm fine with them being at 20. Same thing like with what I said about Washington. Make them prove it a little bit first, but I'm hyped to watch this Wisconsin team play this year. They have an actual good quarterback coming in and a really good head coach. Coming in next, we do have the Texas A&M Aggies, and yeah, Washington and Wisconsin should both be ahead of Texas A&M, without a doubt, in my opinion. I mean, Texas A&M, ESPN is always going to glaze them, especially because Jimbo Fisher and all the recruits they've been bringing in, but they lost so many players to the transfer portal, man. Like, I don't know how good this Texas A&M team is going to be this year. I probably would not have them in my preseason top 25 if I am being honest. So, yeah, too high for me. If they're going to be in the top 25, have them down to like 23 to 25. I would not have them up in the top 20. Coming in here at number 18, who do we got? We got the Florida Gators. Interesting. So no more AR-15. He's heading off to the NFL draft. Billy Napier, year 2. It's going to be interesting to see if he can get this team turned around here. And it's going to be Jack Miller season. Jack Miller transfer out of Ohio State. He is going to be probably the starter for the Florida Gators. I'm almost certain. So it's going to be fun to see him play. He's a former 5-star recruit. Like I said, he originally was at Ohio State. Now he's at Florida. Let's see what he's got. Maybe a little bit too high. I definitely would have Washington and Wisconsin again over Florida. I feel like they are more of a team that I feel more confident in being good, whereas these SEC teams that are unproven like Florida and Texas A&M right now, with how good the SEC is and all those other good teams, I don't know if I trust them to be top 20 teams preseason. So maybe that's just me. Let me know what you guys think, but I would definitely have Washington and Wisconsin ahead of these two teams. Next up, we do have the TCU Horned Frogs. Okay, the defending runner-up from last season. Okay, surprising. I thought TCU would at least be around the top 10 or like around at least top 15. I think a little bit low here, and I'm fine with them not being like a top 5, top 10 team, but maybe around like 11 to 12 at least. I don't know. I know that they lost Max Duggan. They lost a few pieces to this team. They lost Quentin Johnston. But this is still going to be a really good team. They brought in some good transfers. They still have Chandler Morris at quarterback, who, let's not forget, Chandler Morris actually started over Max Duggan at the beginning of the year last year. And Sonny Dykes proved in year 1 that he can do great things with this TCU program. And with the Big 12 kind of being wide open at this point, and you have some new Big 12 teams joining, like UCF, who's going to be good. You got Cincinnati. I mean, I know they don't have Luke Fickell anymore, but Cincinnati might be great. BYU is always a solid team, man. Always a solid team. And Houston has been good the past few years. So you got some good teams joining. I mean, the Big 12 is going to be pretty wide open. I would have TCU a little bit higher. I can see why people want to kind of pump the brakes on them. Like, can they repeat what they did last season? I don't think they're going to be a college football playoff team, but I think they deserve a little bit more respect for preseason than 17. Coming in at 16, we do have Ole Miss, and I'm fine with this. There is a very, very interesting quarterback battle in Ole Miss right now. The most interesting quarterback battle of the offseason, in my opinion, between transfer from Oklahoma State Spencer Sanders and Jackson Dart. Who do you guys think is going to win that quarterback battle? I definitely want to know your guys' thoughts on that in the comment section. But whoever starts at quarterback, I know that Lane Kiffin will have them ready for this Ole Miss team. Lane Kiffin, in my opinion, like, if I had to make a comparison to like college basketball, he's like the Eric Musselman of college basketball. Like, he hits the transfer portal so hard, and he brings in the portal players. And I expect Ole Miss to be around, top 20, top 15. I'm fine with this ranking here at 16. I think they're going to be a really solid team. Do I think they're going to be as good as the Georgia, Bama, even Tennessee this year? Maybe. They might be close to Tennessee, but probably not. I think they're going to be around 16. I like this ranking for them. Utah Utes coming in here at 15. Okay, interesting. So, I was one that was really high on Utah last year, like after they had that shootout with Ohio State a few years ago in the Rose Bowl. Coming into last season, I was super high on Cam Rising. I was like, Cam Rising, he's going to be a top Heisman contender. This Utah team is going to be great and be in the college football playoffs. I think they were in my college football playoff preseason predictions, but they still had a solid year. Last season, and I expect them to be good once again. Cam Rising is returning again to be the quarterback of Utah. I think they're going to be great once again, and honestly, I would have Utah a little bit higher. I think I'd have Utah at least a little bit higher here. I mean, I'm not mad at 15. I think it's respectable. I don't hate it. I would have them a few spots higher, I think. Next up, we have Florida State. Okay, this is another team. I like them being around 14. I wouldn't even mind them being a little bit higher or lower. I actually like 14. 14, 15 is a good spot for Florida State. Let them prove it first. Jordan Travis coming back here for another year at Florida State. They had a really good season last year, 9-3. They beat LSU in the first game of the season. Was a really fun game, and I think they play again this year, and that's going to be another really fun game, so I'm excited to see LSU versus Florida State again. But yeah, they were really solid last year. I expect Florida State to compete for the ACC this year, and Florida State versus Clemson is back. It's back. It's going to, just like back in the golden age, in my opinion, the golden age of college football was like 2012 to like 2015, in that range, and Florida State Clemson was always one of the games of the year in that range. And I expect it to be back this year. I think it's in Death Valley this year, which is going to be tough for Florida State, but I think they're going to be solid. I like them here at 14. Up next, we have at 13 the Oregon Ducks. Okay, I'm fine with them being this high. I think I would probably have Utah ahead of Oregon at this point, and Washington is probably pretty close too. Like, Washington, Oregon, and Utah are all three kind of very close and very interchangeable for me at this point, so I don't hate it. Bo Nix coming back for, I think, his 5th year of college football, 2nd year with the Ducks, year 2 for Dan Lanning. He came from that Georgia tree and Kirby Smart's tree. So let's see if he can get this Oregon defense to be very solid and one of the best in the Pac-12 once again. If so, Oregon is going to be a very solid team once again. And I don't hate the ranking. Like I said, Oregon, Utah, Washington, all three of those teams, along with USC, those 4 teams are going to be solid in the Pac-12, man. Can't wait to see how it turns out. So here we do have Tennessee, and I'm fine with this. I think Joe Milton, a few years ago, especially Michigan fans, they would have laughed at you if you said Joe Milton was a good quarterback. And pretty much everybody would have laughed at you, but Joe Milton looked really solid in the bowl game last season. When Hendon Hooker went down and Tennessee, kind of lost their national championship hopes last season towards the end there, Joe Milton was balling out, and I'm actually excited to watch him play as the starting quarterback at the Tennessee Volunteers next season. And I think they're going to be solid. They have a really good offense, high-powered offense, and I like this ranking here at 12 for them. Up next, we do have Oklahoma coming in at number 11. Okay, why? Why is Oklahoma in here at number 11? I don't get it. They did not have that great of a season last season, year one under Brent Venables. I do think that Oklahoma will be better this season, like at least an 8-win team probably. But let's pump the brakes here a little bit. 11 is way too high. I know Oklahoma, a historic program, a blue blood in college football, but okay, 11 is way too high. If you're going to have them in the top 25, have them all the way down there with Texas A&M at 25 and 24. This is too high. Dylan Gabriel is coming back for Oklahoma, a really good quarterback, didn't have his best year last season. I don't trust him. 11, way too high. I would take a lot of these teams that we saw already over Oklahoma. Tennessee for sure, Oregon for sure, Florida State for sure, Utah for sure, Ole Miss even. Don't need to go all the way down the list, but wow, that's way too high. We'll see what Brent Venables does in year 2, but they're going to have to prove it to me first before I would put them anywhere close to that high. Penn State here at number 10. I don't hate this. I would probably have them a little bit lower for the preseason. No more Sean Clifford here for Penn State. They do have 5-star true freshman coming in here, Drew Aller, and I'm very excited to watch him play. He's going to be a stud. Will he be a stud his freshman season, though? I'm not sure. I'm excited to watch him play, though. And Penn State, they always have a solid defense. They're always going to be really good in the Big Ten. I agree they should be a top 25 team. Number 10, a little bit too high for me in the preseason. A few question marks here. Let's see what they got first. But yeah. Number 9, Notre Dame. I like this ranking. I maybe even would have them a bit higher. This is a team that has an amazing defense, an amazing offensive line every single year. And they brought in one of the best quarterbacks in college football through the transfer portal this season out of Wake Forest, and Sam Hartman. Sam Hartman is going to ball out this year at Notre Dame, and honestly, he should have been a Heisman contender the past 2 seasons with Wake Forest, but I think at a big brand college like Notre Dame, he will for sure get some respect, get some notice, get some more eyes on him, and Sam Hartman will probably be a Heisman contender this year. I like Notre Dame here at 9. I would probably have them maybe even a couple spots higher. Coming in at number 8, they have the Clemson Tigers. Okay, Clemson, Cade Klubnik is going to be the guy here for Clemson. I was a guy last year saying Cade Klubnik should start over DJU all season long. And Cade Klubnik is going to return. DJU is up at Oregon State now. Maybe that will be a good fit there for Oregon State, but he was not a good fit at Clemson. It was not working out. Cade Klubnik should have been the starter. He is good this year. Very excited to watch them play. Clemson is also going to have one of the best defenses in the country this year. I like them at 8. Wouldn't even mind them being a few spots higher along with Notre Dame. So, next up at number 7, we do have USC. Okay, I'm fine with this. USC, Caleb Williams returning to the lineup. They also brought in Jerry Rice's son, Brendan Rice. So that's going to be fun to see. ESPN is going to be all over that during the games. Caleb Williams, one of the top prospects, one of the best quarterbacks in the country in college football, passing to Jerry Rice's son in LA, in USC, a big brand college, are going to be all over that. But yeah, I'm fine with them being in the top 10. I would probably have Notre Dame and Clemson above USC at this point in the preseason, but, I don't hate it. I think they should be a top 10 team. Michigan at number 6. Woo! Okay. Michigan at number 6 is crazy. They should be in the top 4. They should be a team that should be expected to make the college football playoff this season. Bringing back not only J.J. McCarthy, but probably even more importantly, definitely in my opinion more importantly, Blake Corum. Blake Corum was a guy that I thought was going to win the Heisman last year if he did not get injured towards the end of last season. Blake Corum maybe can win the Heisman this season for Michigan, and it would not surprise me. Michigan returning their offense. They're always going to have a stud defense. I think that they should be at least in the top 4. I feel like, 6 is not terribly disrespectful, but I think they should be a few spots higher. I mean, come on. And of course, okay, there's why Michigan is not in the top 4 or even the top 5, because every ESPN preseason rankings list has to have Texas in the top 5 for some reason. Like, I get it. Quinn Ewers is a really fun player to watch. He throws the sidearms. He's like, he does the Patrick Mahomes throws. It's fun to watch. It really is. I enjoy watching it. But having Texas at number 5 is blasphemous at this point. Like, they have to prove it first. Like, if you're going to put them in the top 25, put them at number 20 or somewhere in that range. Like, number 5 is way too high. You guys know this already. I don't need to go too much more in depth. And LSU, oh my gosh. Okay. LSU was a team towards the end of last year that had a chance to make the college football playoffs, and I get it, a lot of hype coming back in, Jaden Daniels returning at quarterback, Brian Kelly's their head coach now, such a good head coach at LSU again, let's go, I get it, but to have LSU above Michigan, I probably wouldn't even have them above Notre Dame, man, like, I don't know. Maybe above Notre Dame, but around that range, like, I don't know about above Clemson even, like, I'm fine with LSU being in the top 10 this year, but not above Michigan especially is crazy. Like, Michigan should definitely be above LSU and Texas. At number 3, we do have Georgia, and, okay, back-to-back defending national champions. Yeah, they're not bringing back their quarterback, but they're bringing back Brock Bowers, who is maybe the best receiver. I know he's a tight end, but he's maybe the best offensive player, non-quarterback in the country. Like, he's definitely up there. It is going to be Brock Vandagriff, probably maybe Carson Beck as the starting quarterback for Georgia, but a team like Georgia, most games it's not going to matter who is behind center. They are going to be winning games because they have 5 stars all across the boards at the offensive line. They're always going to have 3 or 4 NFL running backs on their roster. They have, like I said, one of the best offensive players in the country in Brock Bowers. They have receivers. I'm pretty sure Ladd McConkey is returning. Like, they have an amazing defense every single year. So, Georgia, top 3, 100%. I would probably have them 1 or 2. Next up, we have Alabama. Alabama, like Georgia, new quarterback coming in as Bryce Young is going to enter the NFL draft. That is going to be Jalen Milroe. We saw him a little bit last season. He looked pretty decent. He's a guy who can scramble. He's a guy who can pass the rock. He's going to be really good. Like Georgia, they have a ton of 5 stars around them. Like, it's not as important as some of these other programs who don't have 5-star offensive line, receivers, running backs, to have such a good quarterback, but them themselves, even at Georgia, Brock Vandagriff and all them, they're 4 or 5-star recruits. Like, they're going to be great, and Alabama is going to be good again. I would probably have Georgia above Alabama. Number 1, we know who it's going to be because we have not seen them yet. It is Ohio State, and to me, this is kind of crazy. I would not have Ohio State above Michigan if I were to make a top 25 list right now. Preseason, I get it. They're going to return a lot of their offense. They're not returning C.J. Stroud. It's looking like Kyle McCord is going to be a starting quarterback for Ohio State. Really good 5-star recruit. But they are returning Marvin Harrison Jr., Mayon Williams, Travion Henderson, probably one of the best running back duos in the country. Really good. wide receivers, but is their defense going to be there this year? And they have to play Michigan in the Big House this season on the road. I would have Michigan above Ohio State in my preseason rankings, especially with Blake Corum returning, who I think could have a Heisman year this year. And I'm a big fan of Marvin Harrison Jr. He's going to be a stud, not only in college, but in the NFL as well. Like Ohio State, definitely top 10, maybe probably top 5 is fine, but I would have Michigan above them. I would probably have Alabama and Georgia above them. If I were to make my top 5 right now, off the top of my head, I would probably have Georgia number 1. I'd probably have Michigan number 2, and I'd probably have Bama 3, Ohio State 4. Number 5 would have to be between LSU, Clemson, and Notre Dame. Some combination of that. That would be my top 7 for those final 3. Let me know what you guys think about ESPN's FPI rankings. I mean, obviously, it's crazy to have Texas at number 5, Oklahoma at number 11. They gotta prop up their big brands, and people who don't watch college football are really into it. Like the casual fans, they'll probably yes, why wouldn't they probably agree with it. Like Texas at number 5, they're always so good. They always get these good recruits. Yeah, they get the good recruits, but they haven't been performing on the field like they have those top recruits. But let me know what you guys think about this list, and let me know if you guys are hyped for more college football content. We got more coming. We're going to have more sprinkled in here and there, and then once we get to the summer, we're going to be doing a ton of college football content. More college basketball content coming soon as well. We'll keep you updated with the transfer portal, everything good in there in the preseason for college basketball. I'm hyped, guys. We're getting closer to the football season. Let's go. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching.